Hey, yo, let's get it popping. It is 101 degrees in the beginning of June right now in Texas. Shit's wild. Shit's too hot. See some people in the chat. How you doing? 2-game slate. Big news for this series. Mike Conley not playing today. That kind of dictates a lot for the rest of the series. He is not going to be 100% at any point in the series, more than likely. Hamstring injury that really kept him out for... when he tweaks his hamstring, and it's only been like 3 days, 2 days since the last time they played, and during the regular season, this was an injury that happened a few times. Like, he re-injured this. So this is something that took him 2 weeks on average to come back from. Normally for an NBA player, it's going to take them 2 weeks when you tweak your hamstring, depending on how bad it is, maybe even worse. When you re-injure any body part like James Harden did, it's going to take even longer. So, yes, that is a concern for the Utah Jazz, as I was hoping for a really good series, and we should still get a decent series, but Mike Conley not being in there makes it a lot more difficult for them to win this series. Coming in as favorites in this specific game, yes. But boy, oh boy, is it different now. Alrighty, gang. Let's get into it. Get your questions in the chat right now. I have some props placed. We can talk the betting lines. I have some of those lines placed as well. And then obviously DFS. As I've been saying for the last 2 to 3 weeks, much less action in DFS for NBA right now, because why would you be playing the 100% of your bankroll into showdown slates and 2-game slates as you did earlier on? So I'm playing about 20%, 15% of what I normally play on these 2-game slates, and on showdown slates I'm playing 0 to 5% of what I normally play, and a lot of my action is getting kicked into player props, because that is where there's much more of an edge than trying to pick between the same player pool of 20 players against a lot of other people. Single entry can help you out there, but that's where we're at right now. Sal, do you still like Zubac on Prize Picks? We'll see who's in the starting lineup, but look, there's a chance that they just throw Zubac out there just to size match Gobert. He's just dead weight on the court. He's dead weight. Now, it's not the same matchup as Dallas, is where they can go small ball and force some hands, but you saw the chess pieces. Like, there's no reason for them to play Zubac in this game. They played Boban. They started Boban in the last 3 games of that series, Dallas, and they did not counter. They counter with small ball lineups, so they don't care who's on the other side. They are a better team with Zubac off the court. They are a better team as a small ball team with Marcus Morris at the 5. Zubac I have for like 5 fantasy points today. I get it. If he starts, he's going to play and have more than 5 fantasy points, and I will update for that. Dropping in from DFS Army. Not sure what that is, but he says, "What's up, ladies? Good luck tonight." What's going on, DFS? Madness is the name. Solomon Hill, a good play still? I don't think he was ever a good play. Ingles over 4.5 assists, and Batum under 6.5 boards, says Charlie and none. What's good, Sal? What's going on, William? How you doing in chat? How you doing? What up, Sal? Who's a low on leverage play tonight? Yeah, well, we can talk through it. We can talk through it, my man Money. We're not going to bury the lead right off the bat for low owned types of leverage plays. But yeah, obviously Jordan Clarkson's going to pick up a lot of ownership, as he's now expected to start and take on a lot of offense with Mike Conley now out in this series. That can definitely go sideways because he's not dirt cheap. He's $5,800. Can go sideways. Not to the extent of Mike James last night. He didn't go sideways, but Mike James getting you 21 fantasy points at 60% owned is yikes. Yikes. I mean, he needed to drop 25 to 30 to like actually be really worth playing. So last night worked out well by not going to that guy. Where do you see Conley's minutes going? Where they've been going all season long? To Joe Ingles and to Jordan Clarkson, right? Bojan maybe picks up 2 minutes or so. Value plays for tonight. Yeah, so let's pull up some of these minutes. We can start it off with the Atlanta minutes on the screen right now. Value plays for tonight. If you're talking, I think Seth Curry at $5,000 is the best value play. There's not much meat on the bone for overall punts. There's not the 2 to 3 options in the low range right now. There's not like your 2 to 3, $4,000 or $3,000 or below options. Like, the cheapest you're probably going to find value on tonight is DeAndre Hunter. If you want to go Matisse Thybulle, you can. I think there's a lot of merit for him increasing his overall usage. Makes a lot of sense to me. Maybe not usage. Usage rate's not the right word if you're going to be sticking to the definition of usage in NBA. Minutes. There's at least a reason for him to see more minutes from a defensive standpoint. But yes, I think that's probably the cheapest that you can go tonight. Terrence Mann at $3,300 will have a role on this offense, and especially if you believe that Zubac is not going to see much run tonight. And maybe it doesn't happen right away in game 1, but it happened in the last 3 games of the last series, and I don't see them having any reason to play Zubac out there. Okay, if you can try and tell me one thing that he offers this team in this series, I'm waiting. But if he's not going to play, that opens up more run for guys like Luke Kennard, not really there, but Terrence Mann, who has a role in this team to stand at the 3-point line and get open shots, which is exactly what happened all series long. And the Clippers shot absolutely dreadful the first 2 to 3 games, and some of their players continued to shoot dreadful until the final 1 or 2 games, like Reggie Jackson and Marcus Morris. And Terrence Mann was pretty good. He gave them solid minutes. So That's if you're really looking to punt. George Hill would have the exact same analysis as Matisse Thybulle. Plays a little bit more today because I don't think he plays 11 minutes per game in the series, but also plays a little bit more today because they need somebody to guard Trae Young, and Danny Green's not the answer. And I personally don't think Ben Simmons is the answer. I think it's Matisse Thybulle or George Hill. What's the book next year in your left elbow? Cover looks familiar. It's The Four Agreements. I'm about to start reading it. It's been here for like the last day or two. My girlfriend just finished it. Who's your favorite Utah player? Donovan Mitchell's my favorite Utah player today. Clarkson ain't going to start. Yeah, we'll see what the starting lineup looks like. I don't expect him to dust off anybody that hasn't been in the rotation. So if you think that it's going to be Joe Ingles, that's fine. It's fine either way. Rudy or Joel? Give me Joel. Mitchell or PG-13? Give me Mitchell today. Edgar says, hey, Sal, classic mode on DFS. What is your top 5 guys you would prefer? Yeah, I don't have a top 5. It really depends on your contest you're playing. If you're playing cash versus GPP, cash, I don't know why you play that still, but whatever, teach their own. But it's different. It's different. Like there's no, like any site, any service that's giving you a core 4 or these are the top 5 plays. Like, come on. If you want to talk point per dollar straight out of a projection where the value is, sure, that's one thing. That's actually relying on projections. But if you're saying top 5 plays as a general statement, there's no way. That's just a very bad service in my opinion. Because how can they account for the exact contest, the exact field size you're playing in, right? How much leverage you actually need to get down. So yes, some top plays from a point per dollar standpoint, just straight up projection wise, would look like this, my man Edgar, to give you something. This is just projection wise. Right now in a player pool, I believe I have... In a player pool, I have 25 players, and I've got 13 guys as priorities. These would be 6 of those priorities. Also, what's a great strategy for classic mode that generates a lot of points? Because sometimes you think you have a great lineup and you see yourself in a bad ranking spot. Yeah, probably not playing 2 game slates and showdown slates, so just like not getting a lot of money down. A really good strategy to start with, the 2 biggest ones, is bankroll and contest selection. And if you have $100 and you're telling me no matter what I'm playing $100 today, then contest selection. So I personally like small field single entry and 3 maxes. If you're playing in the contest that has $100,000 to first, you're going to often and more than not in the far majority of the time until you run out of that $100, find yourself just not placing well because you're playing in a lottery system where professionals have a lot more entries than you and are a lot better than you. So single entry and 3 max. And now I'm not saying you specifically, but probably also you specifically, just based on the odds, right? So yeah, single entry 3 max, that is a great strategy to start with. Build out a cash game lineup for a single entry 3 max small field, and then depending on how many people are in that contest is how many spots you have to get different in. So if you're playing in a contest with 500 people, a single entry, you only need to get different in 0 to 2 spots, more than likely 1 to 2 spots. Get different means leverage off of guys who are going to be highly owned, like last night, Mike James. Fine play in cash games, fine play if you can overweight the field in 150 maxes. Really bad play if you can enter one lineup into 150 max. Not the greatest play in a single entry, decent sized field in my opinion. What does he do? He scores 21 points. He's fine at best, but at 60% ownership, going to Bruce Brown was a much better play there. Feel like they would start Ingles over Clarkson just like in the regular season. Correct. That's exactly what they did in the far majority of the regular season games. Clarkson right now, for me, ranks out as the number 2 play on the slates for 31.8 fantasy points. Increased minutes. Still expecting Embiid to play. As of right now, I'm projecting Embiid in and also Hunter. That can clearly change based on the news. That is the first game. So that is the first game, right? I mean, just based on the location of where they're playing, not on. That is the first game, yes. So that game starts in what? An hour and 24 minutes. Yeah, so I mean, we'll have that news for both Hunter and Embiid, so it's not that important. We'll update it on Patreon either way. Thoughts on Embiid? I think Embiid looks really good today. Embiid looks like, as of right now, the number 2 play on the slate for me, only behind Donovan Mitchell. I prefer Embiid slightly over Kawhi Leonard today, but those guys are very close. I have Embiid right now for 2 more fantasy points than Kawhi Leonard, but very close. I could also we'll pull it up in a second. Terrence Mann got 26 minutes in a must-win Game 7. They trust him. I agree that they trust him, yes. This is also a different series, though, so a lot of people are just going to try and copy and paste their minutes, copy and paste their projections, and it's just lazy from the last series. If you think that the Dallas Mavericks and the Utah Jazz are the same team, meaning that the same rotations are going to be put out there, like I think Patrick Beverley plays in this series, and I think he plays more than 11 seconds like he did in what was that, Game 5? He played 11 seconds. I think he's going to play in this series. I have Patrick Beverley for 14 minutes today, so I think that's a thing that's going to happen, right? So yeah, I mean, Patrick Beverley's obviously banged up a little bit, but he wasn't on the court because Luka Doncic gives him no way to guard him. Patrick Beverley in the regular season was by far the best clipper on Donovan Mitchell. Now you can say, oh, but Kawhi Leonard's way better of a defender. Yes, but they didn't put Kawhi Leonard on Mitchell for obvious reasons, to not waste all your energy on defense, and also Mitchell's not that type of player where you have to put Kawhi Leonard on him. So yeah, I mean, Patrick Beverley regular season was all over Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell himself, if you want to say, is a little bit gimpy or just coming off injury, right? Morris or Batum today, yeah, those guys are very close overall in rankings for me. I'm going to take Morris. I think there's more upside in Morris there, but I would say that they rank out very, very similar for me today. Batum ranks out as my number 17 play, and Morris ranks out as my number 13, so I'll take Morris there. Thoughts on Trae Young? Looks good. He's a yes for me today. But I would prefer Paul George, who's cheaper. I would prefer Kawhi and Embiid if you're paying up, and I would prefer Donovan Mitchell, who's cheaper. Let's actually see where Trae Young's ownership is currently flying in. So Trae Young's picking up ownership. If it was like a ability where you can get him at a low owned price point, I think it would be one thing. Guys that you will find low owned today that are quote unquote studs, not many, but like Clint Capella won't be owned. Obvious reasons, very similar price range to a lot of guys, not only Donovan Mitchell, but Rudy Gobert at a very ssimilar position. Gobert might be one of the better leverage plays on the slate. Guy probably still comes in. You trust in Capella today? No, not really. Yeah, there's really not much reason for me to personally want to get to Capella. I don't see there being much of a, outside of like leverage, I don't see there being much of another reason to want to get there. I think you could leverage with some of these value plays today. Is Zubac picking up any ownership? Because that would just be comical. Picking up 12%, okay. So I think the best leverage play on the slate today, if we have to pick one leverage play, is somebody who doesn't grade out that well for me, but he's a yes. He grades out today as my number 14 overall play, and that's the reason why he's not picking up ownership. I think Tobias Harris is probably the best leverage play on the slate today. If Tobias Harris is only going to come in at 25% owned today on a 2-game slate, where that will probably put him outside the top 10 in ownership, even outside the top 15, I think Tobias Harris is probably the play there. 76ers spread, 76ers over. I took the 76ers spread yesterday. Just got the update. Doc Rivers is optimistic that Embiid plays. We love to hear it. I mean, I would think so too. Obviously, he played a lot of minutes, so maybe soreness is the reason. Mike James had the same amount of fantasy points as Holiday, so I think he was fine. I think there's a little bit more to go into that, right? Obviously, a blowout. He was not going to have the same amount of points if Drew Holiday plays his full run, but Mike James was not needed to win DK tournaments last night, thanks to one Bruce Brown, and obviously thanks to the performances that you get from Chris Paul last night, who was a cheaper player, the performances you get from Mikal Bridges last night, who's a cheaper player, so you don't have to dive all the way down into the depths of the $3,000 range, and if you did, you might have gotten yourself either JaMychal Green, who's a pivot off of him, scores more points, Torrey Craig, which nobody really probably was playing, and don't blame you for. He clearly outproduced himself in the time that he played, 9 points and 8 rebounds in 17 minutes, but more so the Bruce Browns. Yeah. Any over on rebound props today? Let me see. I haven't taken any props on rebounds yet. It's something that I probably should look at. What's Embiid's prize picks at? Let's see. If Embiid's under double digits, I would take some of the stuff there. So let's look at the board here. So Embiid on rebounds. Embiid's at 10, that's probably a no bet. If you could find like a 9 or a 9.5 on Embiid, I would take the over there, but that's probably a no bet for me. Outside of that, yeah, probably not. Like Capella's been pretty locked in at like 12.5. That's really a no bet for me. If anything, I would probably end up taking the over on Capella, but that's more so like just trying to hope that Embiid doesn't get full run, which clearly is not the case from game one. Yeah, rebounds is not really where I'm at. The fantasy points look basically the best today. If you're able to find anything out there from a like assist standpoint from some of these guys, if you're looking at books that haven't updated yet from some of these guys from Utah. So you can see like Joe Ingles over 4.5 assists here. I think that's a pretty quality option. So like over 4.5 assists for Joe Ingles is going to look decent. Royce O'Neal over 2 is not terrible, but Ingles obviously sees an increase to his assist percentage and overall ball handling responsibilities. Sal, I really like your advice and recommendation. Thanks. Hey, I appreciate it, Ed Monk. Thank you. We're trying to give to the people here. I'm late to start from the beginning on 1.5 to catch. Time to listen to super fast Sal, says Galia. We're super fast to begin with. Thanks, Sal, but would you suggest as far as generally speaking, as a 150 max, you need top players and only 2 entries to be sleepers? If you're playing in a 150 max contest and you're only playing with like one lineup, you need to be extremely different. You need to get different in more than 2 spots. Gobert against small ball. Yeah, I'm not really there too much on Gobert. I'd rather, like, Gobert's not going to be that highly owned, but I'd rather play lower owns and a little bit more expensive Tobias Harris. Do you like Collins today? Yes. Thoughts on Ben Simmons today? I'll prefer Tobias Harris for the I have Ben Simmons grading out better, 41.4 points. So Tobias Harris is 40.2. It's basically a fucking coin flip. But I'll take Tobias Harris as the lower owned player today. I do think that Ben Simmons is going to command a decent amount of ownership. I would say Simmons is like 34%, 35% owned today, and Tobias probably 25%. Any good prize picks, player props? Yeah, I took this earlier today. It's specifically fantasy scoring, and I feel pretty confident about it today. The reason I like it a lot is I personally don't think Zubac. I think they're going small ball. They're way better small ball. They looked fantastic in the 3 games to close out the series. Their offensive rating is the best that it has ever been with Kawhi and Paul George the last 2 years. With this small ball lineup they've been running out in that game, 7-game series earlier. So I don't think Zubac plays that much. I don't see a reason why he should play that much. Even if he does play decent minutes, it's no lock he gets 15. So I think there's a lot weighing on the under there. And then Korkmaz. If there's one guy from Philly today that sees extended run after game 1, it's Matisse Thybulle and or George Hill. It's not Furk and Korkmaz. So yeah, I like the under there. And then Marcus Morris, it's going to come down to his shooting, which has been sporadic, but I think that's a low enough total. So that's where I'm at. If you want to take that on prize picks, we can look at some more minutes. If you want to look at specific teams' minutes, just let me know. Here's the Clippers minutes. Not all of them, I believe, are on the screen. Yeah, we're not seeing Luke Kennard or Pat Beverly just due to the fact they don't fit. Tobias Harris or John Collins today. Let's see where Collins is coming in with ownership. I will go. So John Collins grains out better. So if he's the first guy in your lineup, John Collins, but Tobias Harris is going to be lower owned, obviously more fantasy points. Kind of a different price range, right? You're looking at a almost $3,000 difference there, so I don't think that's your exact question, right? Do you prefer Morris over O'Neal, Sal? Thanks, yes. What's good, Sal? I've been listening to your podcast while I do cardio at the gym to make it go by faster. What are you listening to when you run? Hey, nice, man. I listen to Big Booty Mixes. That might sound really weird if you don't know what that is, but it's basically an hour long of these 2 DJs that just mash up a bunch of songs, and it's like high intensity the whole time. The Big Booty Mixes, I think there's 19 of them now, but really there's only like 9 decent ones and like 4 really good ones. But anytime I run, I literally play like the same 3. I actually just booked today half marathon run for this upcoming weekend. So this is going to be a light week of running leading into that. And then, we got to run 13.1 on Sunday. So I'm excited for it. Rank the 3 in the 9K range, please. And thank you. Okay. The 3 in the 9K range ranked for me right now would be Kawhi, Paul George, and Trae Young in that order. Paul George and Trae Young are basically a coin flip, though. Reggie or Clarkson? Clarkson. Who do you like more, Paul George or Mitchell? It is Mitchell right now more for me. Royce O'Neal or Horder. It's going to really depend on what happens with DeAndre Hunter, if he's in or not, for me to have any interest in Horder. We saw him close out that last game, not start, but I would expect another closeout. Hunter's still a game-time decision, so for right now, I'll go with Royce O'Neal. Favorite utility player under $4,000? Yeah, good luck. Good luck on that one. Yep, good luck on that one. Favorite guy under $4,000? My answer is nobody. I guess Matisse Thybulle. $4,100 Hunter would be the answer if he indeed plays. But, yeah, we'll see. We'll see if there's a different starting lineup for Philly. I don't expect it, though. Sal the Legend, Jesse J from Buffalo said Royce is a must-have. Oh, that gives me probably even less confidence since Jesse J, casual from Buffalo, is saying that. Probably even more reason to go against. Projection for Trae and Kawhi. I have Kawhi at 53 points or so, give or take, and I've got Trae right now at around 47. I watched him. He's very wobbly, somebody says. Not sure what it is. Who benefits from Conley being out besides Mitchell? I mean, I don't even think Mitchell benefits the most. There's not much more for Mitchell to do in terms of minutes and usage. It's going to be Joe Ingles, ball handling responsibilities in minutes and assist percentage, and it's going to be Jordan Clarkson just minutes-wise. He's already a good producer, over 1 fantasy point per minute this year, decently over that, closer to 1.1. Best point guard on the slate today is going to be, for me, Donovan Mitchell. Clarkson's close if we want to consider him a point guard. Embiid or PG tonight? Give me Embiid. A little bit of a price difference. Capella, Clarkson, or Bogdanovich on Jazz and Hawks in the tiers. I don't know what that means. Yeah, it's all over the place, my guy. Better punt, Hill or Thybulle today? Hill, offensively better. Thybulle, more minutes. Thybulle can do a little bit more in the defensive end in terms of steals and blocks. Thybulle will be... The answer is Thybulle because he'll play more minutes. But if Hill can just see 16 minutes today, what is Hill's ownership at today? I mean, George Hill's going to be like 2% owned today. So Thybulle grades out better because he's locked into, I would say, more minutes because of his defense. But George Hill also can play pretty quality defense. But Thybulle's going to be the first guy up to get those minutes, so I'll just go with Thybulle. Best place for SuperDraft. Best place. I think you mean plays, my man. I would say Kawhi Leonard is the best play today over on SuperDraft. It's Kawhi, Paul George, Joel Embiid, Trae Young for me. If you're looking for a higher multiplier guy, 1.75x Seth Curry on SuperDraft looks good. What do you think about Bogdan today? I'm not really there as much. I think they close out on some of these threes. I don't think they get as much. I don't think they overcommit because I think they're trying to adjust on who's on Trae Young. And it won't be Danny Green. That does not mean that Bogdanovic is terrible. He is one of my 13 yeses today. He just does not rank out as highly as the rest of the guys. He's outside my top 10. I think he's outside my top. Yeah, he's my number 12 play, Bogdanovic. So he's fine, just not as much. Joker won MVP. Is that like official? But yeah, either way. Do you like Collins today? Yes. Sal, who's your center today? Good. Center play today? Good, sir. If you could afford Joel Embiid, it's Joel Embiid. If you're not looking to play Joel Embiid, you don't really have many other options on the slate besides Rudy Gobert or Clint Capella. So if you are somebody who's not playing Joel Embiid today, Rudy Gobert or Clint Capella, I would much prefer Rudy Gobert over Clint Capella for $100 more. Rudy Gobert will not be that highly owned for some reason because of the way the salaries are working out today. A lot of people aren't finding themselves in that range. And if they are finding themselves in that range, I should say they're not taking center there. They're probably taking a Donovan Mitchell there or a Paul George for a little bit more money there. So that's your issue there. But Joel Embiid will be my favorite center play today. I do think that there's enough value, especially in the 4K range. There's enough value where you can go with Joel Embiid and Kawhi if you wanted to go double whammy there. I think there's enough value, but I also think you could choose one of them. There's enough nice lower-priced fellas today, whether it is Tobias Harris and Ben Simmons, whether it is the guys who grade out really well like Donovan Mitchell. Obviously, Clarkson gets a bump now. Ingles gets a bump now. Paul George, right? Paul George would be the direct leverage off of his teammate Kawhi if there was Paul George have a massive game. Obviously, cuts away more times than not from what Kawhi can do there, so you're getting even more leverage directly off of him. I'm interested in what Joe Ingles' ownership is today. It's probably high. Yeah, it's very high. That makes sense. I was curious if he'd go into the radar. Bojan Bogdanovic is a little bit lower owned, so that's interesting. Rondo, a nice play? I don't really think so, no. You saw in that last series that they were very much content with not playing Rondo. He didn't offer much. I mean, defensively, Rondo's fine, but when the defense doesn't matter as much and when they're more content with throwing out there Reggie Jackson and Terrence Mann and Luke Kennard over you, that just kind of says all they need to know. Like Rondo was giving them zeros on the offensive side and wasn't playing as great of defense. And if I do think that Patrick Beverley comes back in this series, at least into the rotation somewhat, that can be an issue. Like, I'm not shocked to see Patrick Beverley start today. A lot of people might be shocked to say, oh, he was getting DMPCD'd in the last game. Like, he stinks so bad. The only reason he didn't play was Luka Doncic. It's not Pat Beverley. Like, maybe he's a little bit gimpy and banged up coming off of injury, but it was Luka Doncic. Like, there's not many guys who can guard Luka Doncic, and when your role on a team is to be the specialty defender, and you can't be the specialty defender on the only guy they want you to be the specialty defender on, you don't have much offense, well, we're going to take Reggie Jackson out because he's actually one of these guys who can space the floor for us nicely. But in this series, if they're going to go to anybody for defense, my guess would be Pat Beverley over Rondo, but we'll see what happens. Mitchell, Simmons, Harris, or Gobert in tiers. Who do I have the highest projected out of those guys? I have it as Mitchell. Also, who are some less owned plays that might light it up so you would jump up on rankings? If you're just talking about leverage plays today, leverage plays on the upper range is going to probably be Gobert, Capella, and Tobias Harris. And that does not mean they're going to be 5 or 10% owned. They just won't be 30 or 40 or 50. They'll probably be like 25% owned. If you're trying to go even lower than that, I mean, you can completely pump Matisse Thybulle or George Hill. I don't think that's the worst idea if you're playing in some large field stuff. Other than that, though, Royce O'Neal, Bojan Bogdanovic, those types of guys, they're all going to be like 20, 25% owned. But yeah, you're probably not going to find yourself a 1% owned guy today. Unless you're going George Hill, there's a chance that he could be in your contests. Other than that, though, not much stands out. Like 20% owned guys are going to be the guys I just said. I think Reggie Jackson probably picks up a little bit more ownership, but the price point has come up on him. But yeah, Tobias Harris, Rudy Gobert seem to be probably your best like lower owned options on the slate relative to the slate, right? Somebody says Kawhi over 27.5 points today. Let me see if we like that one over here. Kawhi over 27.5. I would lean it. Yeah, not enough for me to bet it though. Not enough of a difference. Mad respect on what you're doing, Sal, answering everybody, and so humble, man. You got knowledge, and I'm always waiting for your picks before I insert my lineups. I appreciate that, Edgar. Hopefully you're having a lovely day. Let's look at where some of my exposure is going right now. This is just kind of what you're going to see before rules change. But you can see the big energy optimized there is very much so. So people are asking about John Collins. We like John Collins. I already told you we like Seth Curry. We like Embiid. So you can see that it's giving us a lot more Embiid. Where's Kawhi at? So 31% Kawhi is fine. Okay. Thybulle, it's taking punts on. That's over the field. We have to see what happens. Obviously, DeAndre Hunter is going to really switch up what I can do here because I'm projecting him in right now. We're still waiting on that news, I believe, correct? Solomon Hill, a good play? Not for me. No, I think he stinks. So this is where the optimizer is coming in. If you want to get the big energy optimize there, put in some groups and rules and all that type of stuff, you can get it on Patreon down below. Projections, ranks, all that other shit as well. But yes, this is interesting. So obviously Utah looks great, but I do like John Collins. Nice price point. Say I like the thong song. I don't know what that means. In 150 max, you need 300 plus points to come close. Oh, easily. I mean, on a 2-game slate, not so much though. Who plays most minutes? Guards under 4K on DK. Probably Matisse Thybulle today. Should see somewhere around the most minutes. We could actually look at this exactly. So under 4K today, which guards are going to be playing the most minutes for me? Or under 4K? Oh, under 4K today? Oh, yeah. I mean, probably Thybulle. I've got Thybulle at 20 minutes. That's probably your answer. That's probably your answer today. Other than that, Terrence Mann I probably have at 18 minutes. So Mann and Thybulle are probably the ones George Hill has the ability to. Thoughts on Tyrese Maxey today? We can pull up Maxey in the minutes. I have him at 12 minutes today. Not much of an interest. If anybody's going to get run today, it's not Maxey. Like Maxey would get more run if Joel Embiid was to miss this game. But they just have so much depth. Like George Hill, Matisse Thybulle are ahead of Maxey. Obviously, Danny Green and Seth Curry are ahead of him. There's just not much minutes left for Tyrese Maxey. Ben Simmons is ahead of him, right? If we're talking guard rotation. So there's just not much left on the bone. If Joel Embiid was to miss, well, then they go Ben Simmons at the 5 a lot more, so that slides one of your point guards who plays 36, 37 minutes to center, and now there's more run at the guard rotations. But if Joel Embiid plays, which it's seeming likely that he does, but we'll see, still technically a game-time decision, that can be an issue. Favorite play on the slate says The Prince. Yeah, it really depends on the contest that you're playing in. Donovan Mitchell is my highest-ranked player on the slate, but it's more so like a group of like 6 to 7 dudes who really stand out to me. I have 13 guys as strong plays on Patreon, but it's about 6 or 7 who really stand out. Mitchell, Embiid, Clarkson, these types of guys, Kawhi, Seth Curry. Also, don't believe that I'll be live tomorrow because it's just a showdown slate. So we'll do the video in the morning, and if you want anything answered specifically after that, you can just hop into the Discord. Is DeAndre Hunter a good play? If he plays, I think so. If he plays and starts, I think so. Straight up picks for tonight's game. I have, if you're talking straight up picks as like line picks, I currently have the 76ers spread I got yesterday. 76ers spread I got yesterday, and I have not placed an under on this Clippers and Utah game, but if anything, I probably would lean the under in that game. Who benefits the most with Conley being out, Mitchell or Clarkson? Joe Ingles and Clarkson benefit the most, and then Mitchell. Would you take the chance on Pat Bev playing in this game? I think he is playing this game. I would not play him in DFS, though. I mean, the reason why you project Pat, or the reason why thinking that Pat Beverly plays is important today is because it means less minutes and less opportunities for guys like a Rajon Rondo if you're trying to play him. If Pat Beverly doesn't start, there's no way you can play him today because we're just trying to project in what should happen. And it might happen by game 2 or game 3. Like in the last series, Zubac was playing decent minutes until game 4. Nikola Melli was fucking playing for Dallas, if you remember that, in like games 1 and game 2. Never played again after that. It feels like so long ago. So I do think Pat Beverly plays in this series. That's why I'm projecting him in here. But even if I give Pat Beverly 14 minutes, it's not somebody I want to play. He's going to be strictly defensively out there, right? PG or Kawhi for lower ownership? PG will be lower owned. What's the best center as far as backup under 5K? Best backup center under 5K today. The best backup center under 5K today for me would be $3,100 Derek Favors. I have him for 12. You can enter into that specific contest. Will determine how you should optimally build on it. A lot of that is throwing a lot at you. You don't know what any of half the words I fucking just said are. So I would recommend that you play in some single entry contests or cash head-to-head contests just to start to learn the ropes. There's also free contests. So you don't have to risk your money. Embiid or Kawhi today? I will lean Embiid, but both of them are top 4 plays, and I am trying to play both of them in single entry. Man or Hill, leaning Hill. I will go Man if I had to choose one. Green, Batum, or Bogdanovich? Which Bogdanovich? Bojan? Green, Batum, or Bojan? If that's my answer, I will take Bojan. Anybody have a promo code for DraftKings? I don't even think I do. If you want to sign up for Prize Picks, we have promo code SAL. That's a player prop site that's a lot easier to kind of understand. And we placed this Prize Picks as a community earlier today. You just take the over-unders on props. But, you know, I don't have no promo code for DraftKings. I don't even know if they might give people like 10 or 20 bucks of credit to play with, but somebody else can have that. Stream just lagged heavy for me. Yeah, we all good here. Horder or Gallinari today? Horder if DeAndre Hunter is out. Gallinari if DeAndre Hunter is in. Thoughts on Collins? I like Collins. I'm over the field on Collins by a good amount. If we go back to the Big Energy Optimizer, which I'll put the link on Patreon to the Big Energy Optimizer, you can check it out right here. Yeah, I have a good amount today of one John Collins, and I'm feeling good about that. Feeling good, Steve. Did you answer Simmons and Gobert or Clarkson and Embiid? I'll take Clarkson and Embiid. Do you mind telling me how DraftKings works? I'm new. Yeah, we just told you. Embiid or Kawhi, I like both, but I'll take Embiid if you force me to pick one. I think we caught up on some questions. We skipped a bunch, but yeah. Do you trust Ingles? He let me down every time I roster him, even when Conley's out. Yeah, if he starts, I like him. Any optimals today? Sure. What are your best prize picks, by the way? You was dead wrong about the under on Luka last time. Yeah, Alpha Dog. We just 10x'd our money and won a couple $1,000 yesterday on prize picks. So if we got the under on Luka wrong one time, that's fine. But the pockets are feeling nice right now. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. The pockets are feeling pretty damn nice right now. But no, in all actuality, whatever the under on Luka, I remember that game. What was it like? It was like an over-under of 60. I took the under. The man scores fucking 70. What are you going to do? I love Luka. I love rooting for him. So you lose some, you win some, you lose some. But yeah, we have some prize picks today. We went over them a couple times in the video. I'm sure we'll touch on them again during this. But they're all fantasy point based, which can be a little bit sketchy. And I am taking some unders on low totals, which can also be sketchy, but I feel pretty good about them. A punt position today. A punt position. You're probably not punting center. It's really hard to punt center. There's like 3 actual centers on the slate today, right? So it's fucking difficult to punt center today. If you were to punt a single position, I mean, I think you're probably punting small forward shooting guard, right? It's just a shitty position to begin with. There's point guard is just stacked today. You're probably punting small forward and shooting guard, and maybe you're doing that with a Matisse Thybulle. Maybe you're doing that with a Terrence Mann, right? George Hill, a Batum, a Danny Green. Rondo, question mark, nice play. Not for me. No, not interested in Rondo today. You think Favors gets run if they have to go small ball? No, I mean, I don't think Gobert's going to get run off the court that quickly, but I have Favors at 12 minutes, and he looks like the best center, not named Capella, Gobert, or Embiid today. Risk it with Hunter game time decision or play it safe and go with Horder. I don't think you have to risk anything. The games, you're going to have that lineup. You're going to have the knowledge 99 out of 100 times on if, I mean, that's the first game tonight, right? So the game starts in an hour, but we should have the lineups for both these teams in the next 45 minutes, right? Embiid, Young, or Kawhi in the tiers. Give me Embiid. Did Capella get in foul trouble last game? Kind of want to throw a flyer with Onika. I believe that Capella in that last game, I'll give you the answer right now. I don't know off the top of my head. Capella in the last game had 5 personal fouls. He was in some significant foul trouble. Yes, Capella only played 4 minutes in the second quarter because of foul trouble. He then checked out in the fourth quarter because he picked up his 4th personal foul. So he lost in that game. He lost about 5 minutes in that game. So he was on pace to play, you can call it 4. He was on pace to play about 36 minutes, which today I have Capella projected for, and we can pull back up Atlanta's minutes onto the screen. I have Capella for 34 minutes today. So there's an argument you could say he should have another minute or two. But foul trouble against Joel Embiid is actually maybe one of the most stable foul troubles there is out there. Leave $1,500 on the table and go with O'Neal over Collins. Sounds crazy enough for a takedown. Yeah, if you're trying to win $100,000, those are the types of things that you have to do. I do prefer Collins by a good amount, but yeah, if you like the rest of your lineup and that's where you want to go, yeah, they'll make you unique. Embiid and Leonard, sounds nice. O'Neal or Curry? Curry for sure. Jokes aside, Royce or Reggie Jackson for showdown today. Give me Reggie Jackson. How fast is money from Prize Picks transferred to your bank account? So the last time that I withdrew from Prize Picks, I think I withdrew like the end of April. It was like a day, two days at most. I mean, I think it's like your normal like 2 to 5 business days, whatever they tell you. But then like it can come earlier than that, of course. Denver center wins MVP. Oh, it's official now. Nice. With Jokic as MVP, Embiid's gonna want to crush. Sounds good. What if Hunter is on a minutes limit? Yeah, if we get the news that Hunter is on a minutes limit today, I'm not going to be interested. He's not a high minute producer or point per minute producer. You kind of need everything you can get out of him. So would not be interested if we get the news that he's actually out there on a minutes limit. And then that kind of ruins it for everybody. Man or Rondo? I'll take man. You like Solomon Hill? No. Sal, do you like Kawhi's points today on Prize Picks? I would lean the over, but not really betting it. Not enough to bet it. Simmons and Gobert or Clark and Embiid? Yeah, so we answered that one earlier. I'll take Clarkson and Embiid. So we got some new questions in now. What's up, Sal? What's going on? Thomas, how you doing? I see you, Sal. A buck? What you mean a buck? What you mean a buck? Rondo, nice play. Not for me. SuperDraft picks, please. Yeah, we went over them earlier. I think that, outside of the obvious plays in SuperDraft like Kawhi and Paul George and Trae Young and Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, right, and Mitchell, like those are like the obvious guys. Fit them all together if you want to. Some guys who have nice multipliers with upside. I think that a really nice multiplier with upside today, Seth Curry, 1.75x. I would want to be playing Seth Curry in my SuperDraft lineups tonight. LOL, send me something, LOL. I don't know what that means. You mind telling me how DraftKings work? I'm new. My man keep asking the same questions. You just got to go, my man. You just got to go. Ingles or Curry today? Ooh, that's a good one. Yo, I might take the ownership. I might take the ownership discount on Seth Curry today. I think give me the ownership fuck, Ingles is cheaper by $100. He feels small forward too. Fuck. Ingles is going to be like 20% higher owned than Seth Curry today. Let me see what my projections have these guys at. Obviously, Ingles is going to stand out. So I've got Ingles today Ingles is my number 11 overall play in the slate today. Oh, wait, fuck no. Yeah, give me Curry. Fuck it. Yeah, I've got Curry grading out better than Ingles today, and Ingles is 20% higher owned. So there's your pivot. Seth Curry over Ingles is your motherfucking pivot today. Let me double check this to make sure it's right on my actual database over here, because I'm looking at the Patreon sheet that I pull everything over into, so it's nice and neat and looks pretty for everyone. Yeah, I've got Seth Curry today. Projecting out as a better play than Joe Ingles. I got him for more minutes. I got him for more point per minute production. Yeah. So give me Seth Curry at low ownership. That is a fantastic pivot today. I mean, that's how you save 15% ownership to 20 in your lineups. I like that a lot. Yeah, good question. Good question, Adam. Thank you. No problem. Rondo sucks, dude. He's good on defense. He's a good playoff basketball player. But, there's a cliff for everybody in terms of age. I had Capella, and he is horrible. I don't think Capella's horrible. But he got in 5 fouls, so that's not going to help you. Sal, who are the unders you were taking on Prize Picks today? Yeah, we went over them this morning in the video, but these are the unders. Zubac under 15 fantasy points and Korkmaz under 10 fantasy points. Those are the unders. Hey, Sal, longtime fan. Huge game tonight. Just wondering, Stamkos or is what's going on, King? Is that a hockey question? I don't even recognize the other name, and I don't even know how to say the other name, but I know who Steven Stamkos is for obvious reasons, because he's fucking good. Yeah, can't give you any analysis there. Outside of watching the Bruins in the playoffs, I have not watched any other hockey this season. Possible to play from Europe? Can you play DraftKings in Europe? I think so, but I don't know. I've never been to Europe, sadly. PG3 and Hunter and / Hoarder, or Simmons and Collins? I'll take Simmons and Collins. Hill, Thibault, and Hoarder, or Man, Thibault, Morris? Ooh, that sounds gross, but give me the side that has Marcus Morris on it. Harrison and Embiid together seems fine to me. Ingles or Curry today? I'll take Curry. What are your FanDuel locks? I haven't played FanDuel in about 2 or 3 years, so I can't help you right there. Less than 3 months until NFL, says Sophism. Yeah, man. Yeah, way less than 3 months. I mean, we're talking July, August. Less than 2 months until NFL preseason. August 5th is the Hall of Fame game. So we are literally less than 2 months away now from the NFL preseason. That sounds amazing to say. Yeah, August 5th is when it starts. Maybe based on the way the months lay out, that's like 2 months in a day or something if it's on like Wednesday or Thursday start, but... And the nice thing about the NFL preseason is you don't just play all the games on Sunday. They're going to play games Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. There's going to be NFL games on 5 days a week for 3 weeks in August. And you know your boy's fucking covering them. Yeah, that's right. Live streams, fucking right. Where does Clarkson rank for you? Number 3 overall today. Do you like Batum and Morris today? Yeah, I like Morris more. Does Joel knee issue worry you? I mean, of course, right? Of course, he's dealing with a meniscus tear, but from what all the doctors have said is it's not in a bad spot. It's a good tear, and it's not something that has a high re-injury risk, and it's not something that should limit him. And when you play 38 minutes in game 1, that makes me feel confident. So as long as Joel Embiid is active tonight, I'm thinking he plays 36-plus minutes in a close game, and he's going up against Clint Capella tonight, and Danilo Gallinari, and a banged-up Hunter at best. So Solomon Hill. Yeah, I think Joel Embiid is fine. I think it's fine to play Joel Embiid and feel pretty confident about his health from everything I'm seeing. Hey, Sal, is Collins the only reason Capella hasn't had a smash game? No. You're saying, is John Collins taking away from Capella? No. I mean, there's been some foul trouble issues, right? So some foul trouble issues is going to hurt it. And then all they did was play a 5-game series in the first round against a good defense, a good interior big defense in the Knicks. So... small sample of only having 6 games, 2 in which he got into foul trouble. So you're really only looking at a 4-game sample. And in that 4-game sample, he did score 36 when he was 7,700. So that's that's a decent game. He scored 40.5 at 7,600. So yeah, if you're just looking strictly off of that in a 4-game sample, he's basically gotten you there twice. Now, if you're looking for 50-plus point games, that's probably not going to happen in the postseason at Clint Capella, especially when you're going up against Joel Embiid. Right, so tough matchup in the first round against the Knicks and their bigs. That's a very good defensive bigs, right? Whether it's Nerlens Noel plus Julius Randle in the overall team defense, and now you're going up against fucking Joel Embiid, right? Seth Curry and O'Neal or Ingles and Collins. Ooh, I like Curry over Ingles. If you could afford Curry and Collins, that's the way to go. But I will take the Ingles and Collins side. Curry, Clarkson, and Trey Young. Over in points are 3s. Lock it in. There you go, Jimmy. Best of luck. Yo, can you tell me how to play Dungeons and Dragons? I'm new, somebody says. I don't know how to play. I don't know how to play personally. Aaron Rodgers, MIA for camp. Maybe he'll follow you to Texas, somebody says. Where do you think he's going to play in Texas? Houston? No shot. Yeah. Yeah, MIA to camp makes sense. It'll be interesting to see if the team finds him or not, but I don't think any of us were expecting Aaron Rodgers to show up this camp, right? I tried to play DK from Europe and they banned my account. Oh, yikes. I see you rocking the Clark Kent look, Sal. Let's get this money. Yeah, I'm not even trying to rock that. It's more so just I got so many lights on me that these glasses actually make my eyes not tired. What's up, Sal? What's going on? Rodgers out the dot. Going to be a Bronco. I don't know what the Broncos have to offer for him, though. Yeah, I mean, if the Broncos would have taken Justin Fields at 9, maybe they could have made that trade, but they don't really have anything to offer the Packers. Interest in Hoarder if Hunter is out. Yes, Batum or Hunter today. I'll take Batum. Thoughts on Clarkson, my number 3 play. Looks fantastic today. How long have we been live? We've been live for about 45 minutes. Yeah, we might bounce soon. What time is it? 5:40. We'll probably bounce in about 5 minutes. So get your final questions in. Let's go, NFL. Come back. Give me life, somebody says. There we go. Face and beat in showdown. What does that mean? If he leaves Green Bay, any place you prefer to see Rodgers end up? Somewhere we could win many of Super Bowls. Yeah, I don't really care where, though. Batum or Ingles? So Batum or Joe Ingles? Give me Joe Ingles. Curry and O'Neal or Collins and Ingles? Yeah, we answered that one. Any picks tonight with the upside like Bridges last night? I mean, Seth Curry would be that similar type of a player if you're talking 3-pointers, right? Royce O'Neal is a similar type of player to Bridges. Bridges is just a lot better, but he fits that mold of him. But I don't think you're going to see a Royce O'Neal 40-plus point game tonight. Yeah, the answer of who is the McCall Bridges from last night is not as clear as day because McCall Bridges was cheap. McCall Bridges has a nice role and plays big minutes on that team. I think the answer would be Seth Curry. He's cheap, relatively cheap, similar as last night with Bridges. He plays a lot of minutes on this team, and he shoots threes. Another option for you could be a Bojan Bogdanovic, but he's $1,000 more expensive. I was in Germany playing DraftKings, so it's doable. Drop a like for Sal, says Jalen. I appreciate that. Yeah, drop a like for sure. Yeah, everybody in here right now, I appreciate you all. If you're not already subscribed to the channel. NFL content has been dropping lately, daily, right, during the weeks. These NBA streams and videos in the morning. And then we're going to get right back into NFL. I mean, we're 2 months away from some NFL things we can actually bet on and play some DFS on, which is obviously big fun. Big fun. Best point guard for today, I'll take Donovan Mitchell. Simmons or Gilbert. So Simmons or Gobert today. Gobert ranks out higher for me. Any suggestions on good captains for showdown slates? The ones who score the most points. Highest scoring players. Don't try and get cute and play some low-priced guys because when they score 23 points for you, you're going to get smacked. Who grades out better, Morris or Royce today? Marcus Morris or Royce O'Neal for me. It is going to be Marcus Morris. My guy Sal, what's good? Can you rank Utah? If you haven't done it already, ranking Utah today, their entire team. Yeah, I can rank their entire team. Ranking Utah is going to be Donovan Mitchell, Clarkson, Gobert, Ingles, O'Neal, Bojan, Favors, and Georges Niang. If you had to pick today, who's winning the NBA championship? The Brooklyn Nets. Simmons or Harris? I'll take Harris, but Simmons does grade out better, but I'll take Harris just because of ownership. I'm only picking Trey because he's cute as fuck. That's one reason to pick him. No lineups today? I don't know what that means. We've showed the big energy optimizer a good amount of times, but we can actually show some specific lineups. Yeah, I mean, me putting these on the screen, if you're somebody who's out there, I don't know if this is you, Will Myers, if you're somebody who's out there and just straight up like copying, pasting these lineups in there, not what you should be doing. These don't even have groups and rules in, so they're not terrible lineups, but these are not what you should just be doing. Not taking into account total lineup ownership, yeah. Randomness will help a little bit with that. But yeah, this is where the exposures were on the optimizer. Yeah, so don't plan to do a stream tomorrow since it's just a one-game showdown slate. The video in the morning will come out, probably be about 15 minutes since we only got to break down one game tomorrow. The other teams are going to be traveling, or the other team is going to be traveling. So, yeah, no live stream probably tomorrow. Chance that it could happen, but probably not. There's not much more to break down. Top plays, please. These guys right now rank out as top 6, but just taking these 6 and trying to squeeze them into your lineup is the wrong thing to do because there's 13 guys who are priorities. If you want to see the other 7, you can go over to Patreon. These are 6 of those 13. These 6 do look good, but so do the other 7. And they might look even better in some situations. Trae Young over 27.5 points today. Let me see. Trae Young over 27.5 points today? No. If anything, I'd lean the under. Nice shirt. Which center, Capella or Gobert? If I had to pick one, I'll take Gobert, and thank you. You skip my comments because I'm a Michigan fan? LOL, I guess I need to change my picture. I don't even see the pictures, my man Eric, but I haven't seen any of your comments. There's a lot of comments coming in, so I'm kind of scrolling through. But, yeah, no, O'Neal, Ingles, Morris, or Batum last man in? Ingles. Who grades out better, Morris or Royce Morris? Alrighty, gang. I think we're going to bounce. I think that's it. You get your final questions in, but I think we're going to bounce. 50 hard minutes. I'm going to go bounce and get some food. Best of luck today. 2 games slate. The only other thing is DeAndre Hunter and Joel Embiid. That game starts in 45 minutes, so if anything comes out in terms of Embiid or Hunter not playing, I have them both projected in. I will update it on Patreon. If you want to see those updates, you can check them out down below over on Patreon. And if you want to sign up for Prize Picks, you can do that down below. Use the code SAL. Any money you put in, they'll double your money. You just take the player props over under. It's as simple as that. Any money you put in, they'll double your money up to $100. So it's just free money to play with tonight and use for props. So you can take these props if you want to choose the same ones I did. The under on Zubac points of 15, the over on Morris of 21, and the under on Korkmaz of 10 fantasy points. That's where I'm at right now. I might add some other props in there, but I feel pretty comfortable with this right now. Again, you can use that code SAL at sale. Pretty simple. Get you your free money match. Thanks, Al. Stay real and stay safe. All right, peace out, everybody. Yeah, you as well. See you.